Hey there, we're live. Thank you so much for joining me. I know I'm not giving you advance notice on these lives. I'm just going for it. Thank you so much for all of my subscribers. You know, I absolutely love you and appreciate you. And if you're brand new to this channel, yay! I'm glad you finally made it. So, I'm Movie Review Mom, and my goal is to give you the heads up on filmmaking quality and content so you can decide if you want to watch a particular movie. So, first of all, I am still recovering from the Academy Awards. I know I should have gone live, I should have talked about it. I didn't. I was a little frustrated, honestly, and I thought, I don't want to rant. So, we're going to pretend like it didn't exist because my favorite film didn't win. And so we're moving on. And so today, the movie I'm reviewing is called Seven Veils. This is a very dramatic mystery slash thriller that it opens in theaters this Friday, March 7th, 2025. The film is rated R, and I'm going to give you some tips for parents here in just a minute. In a nutshell, it's not appropriate for kids, but it might not be appropriate for some adults as well. But I'll tell you more about that in just a second. The film is an hour and 47 minutes. It's uh oh Nope, it's an hour 47 minutes. I thought I was going to say something else about that. And my overall movie review mom grade is probably a B to maybe a B plus, but a lot of that score will depend for you on your taste. So I'm going to give you an overview in a nutshell, and then I'll point out things I liked, things I didn't like. I'll offer tips for parents, themes worth talking about, funny lines, interesting lines, and then we'll finish up with recommendations for other films that are sort of similar that you might also like. All right, sound like a plan? Good. Now, I'm going to occasionally glance over here to see who's joining us live and who's writing comments. So thank you for doing that. I think it's really fun to be with you live. All right, so first of all, in a nutshell, this is a Canadian thriller. It was directed and written by Atom Egoyan. This is the second movie Amanda Seyfried, I always say her name wrong, Seyfried has been in that was directed by Atom Egoyan. Clearly, they have a good working relationship. The real opera Seven Veils was in production while this movie was being filmed, allowing both projects to use the same sets. Pretty clever for budgeting, but also for marketing, don't you think? The story is about an earnest theater director, played by Amanda Seyfried, who has the task of remounting her former mentor's most famous work, the opera Salome. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen it or if you're familiar with it. There are some disturbing memories from her past that allow her repressed trauma to color the present, and even so much that it changes her interpretation of this opera on stage. The story of Salome's dance in the court of King Herod is based on the Bible story from Mark chapter 6, 22, and Matthew chapter 14, which led to the beheading of John the Baptist. So this is not a Christian movie, that's for sure. But if you're unfamiliar with the story, it is actually a real story that is traumatic in and of itself. Already, the film has been nominated for several awards, including Best Director, Best Female Actor, and Best Supporting Female Actor. Those come from film festivals, and we'll see if this movie gets any buzz for Oscar, Golden Globes, all of that kind of stuff for 2025 movies that the award season doesn't start, obviously, until 2026. Anyway, tips for parents. First of all, as I mentioned, this movie is not appropriate for kids. Kids are also going to be extremely bored. There is quite a bit of implied sexual content. A theatrical suicide is portrayed. Lesbians are portrayed. And there's talk of several illicit affairs. So content, just to give you the heads up on that. Some of the themes that are illustrated very well are forgiveness, abuse, love, bad behavior in the name of art, revenge, innocence, trauma, obsession with things you can't have, exploitation, passion versus punishment, the ghosts that haunt us. So some pretty good meaty themes, I would say. Now, here's the long list of things that I really liked about the movie. Actually, let me look over here really quickly and see if anybody's written anything. Nope, not yet. So, things I liked. Atom Egoyan has directed many operas, real life operas, during his career, the first being Salome in 1996. He began directing film in the 1980s and often wondered if he could combine his love for both media. And that's exactly what he does in this movie. And he does very well, I might add. Amanda Seyfried did an outstanding job and just also looks fantastic in this. She is a lovely singer, so it would have been really fun to hear her sing a little bit during the opera scenes. I mean, it's a sort of a musical movie, right? The rest of the cast is also terrific and includes Rebecca Lydiard, Douglas Smith, Mark O'Brien, Vanessa Antoine, and Lynette Ware, among many others. Some of the actors in the real opera are also in the movie, such as Amber Braid and Michael Kupfer-Radecky. The title of the film is appropriate because it alludes to the fact that some truths are veiled or hidden in this multi-layered movie. A veil has traditionally been a symbol of a covering that represents modesty, authority, consecration, and even fidelity. And the actual term dance of the seven veils was used in the 1891 stage production of Salome by Oscar Wilde. That's how far back the story goes. Well, it goes back to the Bible, really, but there are many interpretations of the phrase throughout history. I would love to have a conversation with the director to learn which meaning he has applied to the title. We see visuals on a screen that illustrate what Salome and Janine, the protagonist, have gone through, which is interesting. The film premiered at the 2023 Toronto Film Festival, and several characters are faced with moral dilemmas, and it's really fascinating to see how they handle them. Now, there is a list of things I didn't like, but it's not nearly as long. First of all, those who don't enjoy opera might not like this film either because it's all about the opera. The film is extremely what I call artsy fartsy, and so some viewers may not appreciate it nor understand it. Some will be bored and think it's overly pretentious, and others will think it's brilliant. So, again, it has to do with your taste and what your expectations are when you go to watch this film. Many viewers will find that they won't be able to relate to most of the characters in the movie. And for my husband, that's a big thing. If he doesn't relate or find any common thread, he just won't even like it. And so I know he won't like this also. However, I actually did enjoy it, and I thought it was very clever and very artistic. Now, I always write down funny lines and interesting lines simply to share them with you so you can get a taste for the dialogue and the script writing. You can see all of them on my written review at moviereviewmom.com, but I'll share some with you. First of all, for funny lines, I didn't write down anything. This is definitely a serious drama. And speaking of lines, again, I'm looking to see if anybody left any messages. Not yet. You guys are being super quiet. But here are some interesting lines. So this is one spoken by Amanda Seyfried's character, and she says, "I've been asked to make this personal, so I shall." And the movie is absolutely personal for this character. She's been asked to sort of relaunch, reboot an opera, but she absolutely envelops a personal story, personal thread throughout this whole remake, the relaunch, and also in the movie itself. Another line that she says is, "Take away one sense and others are heightened." And you'll see lots of different senses being used in the film, which I think is clever. Another time she says to somebody, "You're worthy of being loved." And that is absolutely a theme throughout the film, is uh, how your parents shape the love that you have for yourself and others, or not even. Another line that she says is, "Nothing is clear to you right now except your pain." Pain is a really interesting element of this film. And then finally, another line that I'll leave with you that she says is, "The mystery of love is greater than the mystery of death." so you can kind of chew on that and decide what you think that means. Now, before we go, I want to give you some recommendations for other films that I instantly thought of that kind of almost put me in the same mood, the same trance of watching this film. The first is Black Swan, which is a really incredible film, beautifully artistic with lots of layers. Another movie, very different, is called Whiplash. Now, that movie has a billion F bombs, but it has something to do with a mentor training the next up and coming star and the trauma that was inflicted and the lessons that were learned. And so that's why I thought of that one. And then another one that I want to recommend is A Mouthful of Air. And that one stars Amanda Seyfried as well. So I thought you might be interested in that. She is just beautiful. The last time I really got to hear, well, I think two movies that I really heard her sing in is Mamma Mia, of course. But I think the first time that I heard her ever sing was in Les Mis. And I thought, wow, her voice sounds like a flute. It's very light and airy. Anyway, hopefully this review will give you an idea of whether or not you want to spend time and money watching the film. But if it sounds intriguing, absolutely comment down below and let me know what you thought. Thank you so much for sticking around. As always, you can visit me all over social media. And anytime you subscribe or like or comment down below, it helps the YouTube algorithm help people find my reviews, people who are trying to save time and money and would like a little bit of inside scoop before committing themselves to a film. All right, that is it. So thank you again so much, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.